In the psychic's chair, the veil between worlds thins, as the smoke deep and let the unseen truths of the immersed, guiding us into the unknown. MostHauntedCastle.com. Paranormal investigations with a difference. Visit our website or ring reception for details. 01639 731167.
Good afternoon and welcome to Craig y Nos Castle here in the Swansea Valley, a magical place to be, and our 13th episode of In the Psychic's Chair. And our special guest today is Amy Price, who will be joining us in a little while. We will, of course, be chatting to Jeremy about some of the work that we did in the past, and Elaine and I are going to talk a little bit about education, because that's a theme which keeps coming up over and over each week. So we thought we'd have a little look at that, and then we'll have a wander around and see what we can see. And that's everything on this week for In the Psychic's Chair. Welcome to the first segment of this week's In the Psychic's Chair, and of course, welcome to our regular guest and historian of Craig y Nos Castle, Jeremy Marsh. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Always.
In fact, it's becoming so much of a pleasure, it's becoming a habit. Yeah. So what should we talk about this week?
Well, I think, what did we do? We touched on something last week, didn't we? We talked about the staff of garden and
The staff.
yes, the staff. I mean, in the past, we in our episodes we've talked about so much about the the celebrities here,
Yeah.
for want of a better word.
Yeah.
You know, the important and very imposing characters that we've got roaming around the place. Let's have a little bit of the look at what we call upstairs, downstairs.
That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, yeah. And of course, that what we noticed, didn't we, in the interviews that we did, was that some of the let's call them downstairs staff that we interviewed, some of them were happy, and some of them weren't. And I seem to recall, I'm not sure whether it was during the captain's time or Morgan, but there was one particular young maid,
Yeah.
who was worked something like 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you remember her?
Yes, I'm just trying to recall her name. Can you remember her name?
No, but I'll find it later on for
Yes.
when we
Yes.
put the clip in.
But obviously she was very unhappy in the situation that she was in, and she left, didn't she?
Yeah, she did work here for about 18 months, 2 years, but she was absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
And she had to leave because I recall her saying that day after day she was given jobs to do which weren't actually really her job. She'd be up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, setting fires in the various rooms so that the building was warm. Because of course in those days it wasn't like it is now.
Oh, no.
Because Adelina had all the turrets and everything put on, didn't she?
Yes.
It was just a huge Gothic mansion before that, which must have cost an absolute fortune to keep warm as well, thinking about it.
Yes, well, I mean, when you walk around the place, the first thing you notice is they're huge rooms, aren't they, by modern standards? And there's only one fireplace
In each room.
So you were either roasting on the fire, as it were, just in front of it, or freezing at the back of the room.
Yes, indeed. Sounds a bit like my living room. Really. The interesting thing about this particular young girl that I'm remembering now is that in addition to having to do all of that, she was also I think it was Morgan actually, because I'm pretty certain, if memory serves, that she was also his wife's maid as well.
Morgan.
Really?
It's a maid for Mr. Morgan.
Maid for Mr. Morgan?
Yeah.
That's good.
It wasn't.
No? What can you tell us?
Well, we worked out all night. I worked from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. 6 days a week. Making fires up, doing washing, doing ironing, fetching, carrying. When did I die, you know? Didn't like him, you know.
No?
No. And I jumped up. I thought it was something better. He hadn't come from anywhere, you know. Just ordinary bloody farmer. I think didn't like his wife, I thought she was the bees. No. They didn't care about us. They were only there to fetch and carry and remove one. Anyway, he weren't here long, that served him right, didn't it?
So she was doing housework, personal maid work, general cleaning and everything else, you know, so it kind of been easy.
Yes, it's quite surprising, really, because of course Morgan was quite highly regarded in
Yeah, indeed, gentleman farmer. Wasn't
yes,
he?
yes, and you know, they called him the squire. The local community referred to him as the
It just
squire.
goes to show that, you know, even though one may have a grand reputation out there,
But
what you are in your own four walls is something that people don't really see.
That's right.
Except in those days, of course, the people who were working.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So that's just one example that came to mind.
Compare and contrast that.
Yes.
With one of Adelina's maids, for example.
Who would be here and obviously have board and a uniform and be fed, you know, 3 times a day or whatever,
and good food too.
And of course, she was very social. She was well before her time socially.
Yes,
in terms of if we look back at Victorian England, I mean, most of the people working downstairs weren't treated that well, and very little in terms of money. But here, the staff were quite happy, and I mean, we hear stories that if any of them were ill or and lived in the village locally, she would visit them and take flowers and food.
It's quite interesting because I think about back to the young lady we were just talking about, when she left, because she was from Worcester Gunlights, and when she left, she went back to the town and worked in a local laundry for about 6 months and then died. She was 21.
Yes, we hear the phrase from that period, worked to death.
She was,
yes,
she was worked to death. Yeah. I think the beauty of Adelina was that she had sensitivity, didn't she?
Yes.
And she cared about the people that worked for her.
Yes.
You know, and as you quite rightly say, you know, if somebody was poorly, she would often visit them.
Yeah.
People use. And I worked there as a maid, and Adelina was here. And I'm not a local girl. I didn't come from around this area at all. I came from Lincolnshire. And I didn't die here. But I come here occasionally because it was one of my favourite places. I worked for Adelina for 4 years, and I enjoyed every minute of my work here.
Yes, yes, which is not the norm.
No, it's certainly not the norm. And I mean, it must have been really quite strange. You know, you're living in a little 2 up, 2 down in the middle of Worcester Gunlights, you know, and suddenly Coach and 4 turns up and
yes.
and out pops Adelina, you know, knocking on the door, all 5 foot one
yes.
of them, you know.
Yes. With flowers and food.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Yes.
A very, very generous lady.
I did hear, which is, you know, these are stories that come down from generation in the local area of you know, relatives in the past that actually worked here, and there are occasions when if the maid or whoever the member of staff was of an age where it was due to finish work, stop working, and they had nowhere to go, they would stay here.
Yes, she was so generous.
You know,
so generous.
So I mean, that's incredible, really.
Yeah,
for that particular period.
Yes, indeed. Well, Jeremy, we'll chat again more next week.
Look forward to it.
And we'll have to think about something to talk about. There's so many things that we can talk about.
Well, there's so many aspects and facets of life here. It's amazing. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's so we'll be back again with Jeremy Marsh again next week. So thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
Walking through the forest, we must be quiet to catch a glimpse of. Oh, deep joy, coming down the track, the very rare Ateloticus looking for dinner.
Thoughts on suffering. All of us say, we do not want to suffer, and yet each and every day, we cause more suffering to ourselves, and support those who perpetuate suffering for others. We say, we do not want to suffer. What do we mean by suffering? It is created, defined and experienced by so many souls on our planet, and controlled and manipulated by so few. A must for every bookshelf. This thought-provoking little book inspired by Padre Pio is written by Lazarus Carpenter and illustrated by Jill Brooks. Available from LazarusCarpenterAuthor.com.
Welcome to our guest medium, who this week is Amy Price. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
No, it's our privilege indeed. We've heard a lot of good press about you, young lady, and some of your activities on the podium, etc. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? How did it all start for you?
How long have we got? This is the hardest question I find. So I need to take it back to when I was a child. Is that okay? Briefly.
Yeah, fine, absolutely.
So I think lots of you can relate to this in the movement, but I've always been a little bit strange, but I think strange is good.
Yes.
So very sensitive, very sort of, I used to hide from spirit from the age of 3, 4, would see sort of shadow figures. And I always used to see this man standing in a corner that I now know as like the hat, I call him the hat man. And he just used to stand there and just look at me and not say anything. And yeah, it started as a child. And I remember then I got into work and I worked in a call center and I was always in trouble, always, because my job was to sell insurance. And I would just be on the phone for hours talking to people about their problems, I would be a counsellor. Right. And even on the train into Cardiff, I would just sit there and I would just know things about people. And I would just feel their pain without even speaking to them. I would know that person is going through this.
So you were a natural empath from being a small child.
Absolutely. And
it can't have gone down very well though in the call centre. I'm just visualising you sitting there going, hello, I'm ringing you about insurance. Actually, are you okay? I'm feeling that there's something not quite right. Is that how it was going?
Absolutely.
Was it?
I mean, they would listen to calls. They would call me in and say, Amy, can you listen to this call and let us know what happened? And I would listen to that, and I'd be listening to this lady that lost her husband. She was trying to cancel. The insurance was too expensive for her. And they were like, why did you proceed to stay on the phone with Elaine for another 10 minutes? And I just said, well, I might have been the only person that she spoke to that week. And I felt that she needed, that little bit of a listening ear. And they would say, well, why didn't you sell a breakdown cover? And I was called in every week for, look what you've done this week. And I just felt really drawn to people and helping people.
I do like that throwaway, why don't you sell them breakdown cover? I think, yeah. So it didn't last long in the call centre then? Didn't
last long in a call centre, absolutely not. And my grandmother was my mum growing up. She was my rock. And I'm going to get emotional. All the tears will come out on this episode. Right. My grandmother passed very, very unexpectedly at the age of 53. She wasn't poorly, she just passed. I was at the age of 16, so I was gallivanting with boys and, doing that unruly sort of teenager thing.
As you do.
Absolutely. And I didn't go to see her for a couple of weeks. And then one night, I had a dream that she passed away. And I woke up. It was one of them dreams that I was crying. I woke up going, oh my gosh. My boyfriend at the time said, are you okay? What's wrong? And I said, well, I've just dreamt that my nan have just passed away, and oh my gosh, I need to go and see her. Oh, and I didn't go to see her. 3 days later, I had the call, she passed.
How did that make you feel?
Horrendous. I felt that it was her soul's way of saying, I don't even know, I'm on my way. And I carried that for so many years. I hated myself for it. I felt that grief to another level of grief. That almost she was holding her hand out to say,
see you soon.
Yeah, but I'll speak about her a little bit, but I now understand differently to that. But when she passed, I remember thinking there has to be more to life than just we're here and then we're not here. Strange things started to happen when she passed.
Such as?
I would just feel her energy in a room. I would just be doing something so mundane like the dishes, and I would just feel her come in and I would just cry. I would smell her quite a lot as well. And the little things like a song would come on at just the right time. And now we all understand in spiritualism, there's coincidences, but then to me, there's no such thing as coincidences. And it really sort of opened my eyes up.
Hell of a lot of synchronicity, though.
Yes, continuously, to the point where it's going, you can't ignore me anymore, Amy. Like, I am here. My boyfriend at the time he didn't believe, and even he was like, what is going on? The lights would just flicker, and I would say, Nan, if that's you, can you do that 3 times, just so I know? And it would just go boom, boom, boom. And I just thought, wow.
And your boyfriend rang up the local psychiatric hospital and said, can you come and get my partner? She's not too well.
Yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then there was a little bit of a lull then. This was like in my early years when I was 16, 17, growing up, just very different. I went through a lot in my younger years, trauma after trauma after trauma, which I understand now through my path. But that's kind of how the ball started rolling.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting that the majority of extremely good natural mediums that I've certainly spoken to over the years, and I think I'd say it for myself too, is that we have gone through a tremendous amount of grief and loss and pain before the journey begins. And it is almost as if Spirit is saying, yeah, well, there is more to things than what you've been through. And here we are.
Definitely. I was kind of walking around, not angry, that's the wrong word, a little bit woe is me, but now I just understand so much. I'm just grateful really to be where I am now.
Right, okay. And you are a mum.
Yes.
You've got 4 children.
A mum of 4.
Yeah.
I have 4 boys, very busy sort of, my life is just chaos. But Spirit is still like, listen, like you are still going to get up there and work the platform despite the chaos. And I'll be honest with you, I really sort of I feel like I was always spiritual. We're all spiritual beings, but I was really sort of cracked open spiritually when I was pregnant with my 4th and my last son. And that's when I was sort of searching for something, but I didn't know what that was. And as soon as my son was born, I can't explain it. It was almost just like this light filled me. And from speaking to people in this movement, they said the birth of a child is so pure. Spirit has got a real way of sort of coming in on that sense. I don't really understand the mechanisms of it, but I was training as a medium when my son was 2 to 3 months old. It just was like boom. So
I mean, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because there's nothing purer than a new life.
Yeah.
And when a new life is given to us as a child, and the responsibilities that we then have for the next God knows how many years, and yet still trying to do things for yourself as well as bring up a child. Now, you are a working medium.
Yes.
And you serve the churches.
Yes.
And your rep is very good.
Oh, well, that means a lot. Thank you.
Well, I'm only repeating what I've been told, because I haven't had the privilege of seeing you work. So I can only go on what I've been told. But how do you see the now?
we'll talk about later, but the now. How do you
Yeah.
see the now?
The now within mediumship or the now within me?
No, the now within you.
So can I speak a little bit of how I come onto the platform?
By all
Is
means.
that okay?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah.
So again, I was going back, I was searching for something and I was paying. So I was going and I was paying, like I now know, to be palm readers and fortune tellers, purely psychics that do not connect with spirit. I didn't understand the difference between someone that would read my palm and someone that would bring my grandmother through. So I spent hundreds of pounds on psychics, mediums, looking for my nan. And it was nothing more of a sense of, I wanted my grandmother, and they would go, I've got a grandfather figure for you. And I'd go, oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And that sounds really negative, but when I was desperate. I thought, come on, Nan, please, I need you. I was paying all these people. My friend said, why didn't you go to a spiritualist church? And I mean, no disrespect by my words. I feel that spiritualism is now my religion. But I was very naive and I laughed and I thought, well, I'm not going and, what is it? Do you sing? Do you do hymns? And she said, just come along and see what it's like. And I thought, oh, all right then. So I went, and every speaker that came for the first 3 to 4 weeks was like, can I come to you? You can do this. I said, what do you mean I can do this? And, it just kept becoming a bit repetitive that I think you should get up here kind of thing. And I thought they'd just saying it to fill in the gaps or to be nice. And then this one lady, Linda Sweet, she came to me and she said, I've got a queue of people by here wanting to speak to you. And I said, I don't know that many people that have passed. She said, no, she said, they want me to move out of the way for, you to get up there because they want you to work. And I looked at my friend and I said, these people are all quite strange, to be honest. Like, I just didn't have the sense. I've always been different, very empath, very sensitive to things, but I've never really communicated, if you can understand.
Well, you don't think you have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then one day this gentleman came up to me and he was another weirdo at the time. I thought, oh, what does he want? And he said, do you want to join my circle? And I said, well, what's that? And he said, well, it's a place where you can sit and develop spiritually. And I thought, well, how much do you want to fleece me for then? Go on, how much? Yeah. I just thought, oh, go on then, how much? Yeah. I've got 4 kids. I can't afford to pay hundreds. He said, nothing. All I ask is for your time and your commitment.
He saw something in you.
Well.
Did he?
I'm not sure, because I remember asking him, do you think I've got something? And he said, well, I don't know. My guides have just said, there's your next pupil. And again, I didn't know what to expect. So we sat in a circle via Teams. And again, I mean, no disrespect, never meditated before, didn't know what it was. And I sat there with my fingers like this, and I was trying my hardest not to laugh. I'll be honest with you, I was, oh my gosh, what am I having for dinner tonight?
It is a strange space for the first time.
Yes, and probably a bit of fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started to feel things when he went up the chakras, and I could see that colour, but not in my mind's eye, almost like, you understand. I could see it like as if someone had a kaleidoscope shining in my eyes, and I thought, this man is doing something to me. Long story short, my grandmother, who I've spoken about a lot today, he took me onto the beach. I always get emotional when I talk about it, sorry. Okay. He took me to the beach, and I see my grandmother as clear as I see you, and to hear her voice and to remember her face, and it was just like I was there. I was there. She held me, and to feel that touch, to smell her. I was in a meditation, bawling my eyes out. I was crying that much. I lost all my eyelashes. I had tears rolling down my stomach. And I spent time with her on that beach. I came out of it, and since that day, it's almost just been like my eyes have been opened. It just blew me away. And I remember coming out of there, and my partner didn't believe at the time, and he said, are you okay? And I said, I'm not afraid to die. He said, are you all right? And I was like, yeah. I said, I've just seen my nan. I've had an ice cream on the beach. She's told me she's not that fussed on you, but she loves the kids. And And excuse me, it was just like it really like I still can't describe the emotions, the feeling, and nobody can ever take that away from me. And one,
Can I just ask you, how did your boyfriend react when you told her that she wasn't that fussed on him?
he laughed. He just went, "Oh gosh, she was a bit." Well, say was. She's a bit of a character, my nan. And he just thought, oh, okay. And he laughed and he said, do I need to take you to the hospital? Are you okay? But where I'm from, it was called Witch Church, like the mental.
Yeah, I know which church.
Yeah, and I was like, no, it's all right. And he was just like, oh, you know, he doesn't believe in none of that. But yeah, and then the next day I attended a church then, Charlie's church in Caerphilly. My mentor was the speaker. I sat at the back with my friends. And he called me up. He said, do you want to sit on the rostrum with me? I said, what do you mean? And he said, the energy here is very different to sit in. Just come and sit in the energy. And I looked at my friend and I thought, I don't know what to do. And I did sit up there and he said, would you like to read a poem? Here's the piece of paper. You don't have to, but you know. And I was like, I can do that. I can read a piece of paper. I got up there. The service started. Within 10 minutes, he said to everybody, I'm going to get it up today. And I thought, what do you mean? I literally thought, this man, everyone in this movement is absolutely crazy. And I think it was like halfway during the service, he turned to me and said, are you drawn to anybody, Amy? And I said, I don't really know what you mean. And he said, you know, do you feel pulled to anybody? And I said, oh, well, you know, that gentleman there, for example. And he said, stand. You stand for spirit, out of respect, stand. And it all just came. So my journey to Rostrum has been very much like I feel like I was thrown up there. But I do believe it's a good thing and a bad thing. I wish I had more teachings, and I am sort of learning as I go, learning.
I mean, you know, I would say that the best teachers are spirit.
Yeah.
That they teach us. I mean, they've been my best teachers.
Yes.
I've met a few people during my life who've been great mentors.
Yeah.
I met a chap in Egypt who taught me all about gem elixirs and all that kind of thing many, many years ago. And I also met a Spanish shaman who taught me Reiki, and we didn't speak each other's languages. He taught me by example. But the actual work with spirit has been spirit that's taught.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people like say, you know, how long have you been doing this? You should never be up there. And I can understand that because I feel to do the job that we do, it carries so much responsibility.
Absolutely. It's not a joke. And it's not entertainment either.
No, we are ambassadors, aren't we?
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I love spirit. I respect spirit. And I'm so grateful for this path and journey. But I never wanted to be a medium.
No.
I didn't wake up and think, you know what, I'll have a go. Absolutely not. And I do believe if my journey wasn't just thrown up there, if my mentor said to me, Amy, tomorrow you're going to stand up there, I would have blocked his number. I would have never have gone to a church again because I would have been so ill with worry. So it's all unfolded as is supposed to, I guess.
Well, it sounds to me as if your journey has been perfectly natural. And it stemmed from loss and grief and sadness and difficulty.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to me, it's quite logical, really, Amy, because if you've gone through these sorts of things, then you have a natural affinity to people who are suffering.
Yeah, I really feel that. And I just love helping people. And for me, it's not about me, the service, nothing. I don't remember messages.
They always say, don't they, you don't have to fall down the stairs and break a leg to know that it hurts, but it helps.
Yes.
And I think that's very much, you know, what I would say.
Yeah.
Really. So here you are now, you're working as a medium, you're a mum, you're trying to make ends meet and this and the other.
Yeah.
But you have, you're not like a lot of people, you don't actually take money for some of the things that you do you?
No. So we all have got different views. This is a disclaimer. got different views, opinions.
No, I agree with you before you even say
Like-
it, because I haven't said myself.
But I just feel for me, and the way that I was taught was this gift is given freely, so I give freely back. That's just how I again, this sounds really bad, but I feel like I couldn't say to you, if you give me, I don't know how much people charge, give me 30 quid and I'll bring you mum. It's just not, it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the majority of people claim their expenses if they're doing churches and things like that, but,
Yes.
but that's about it. And I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that we all know it's big business now. It's bigger now than it has ever been.
Yes.
And the amount of psychic fairs that there are all over the place. I mean, they're popping up everywhere now.
Yeah.
You know, there are card readers and there are psychics and everything else. Some of them are very good. I mean, our own resident medium, Elaine, is extremely good.
Yeah. She's lovely.
And very natural, very talented. But there, I mean, I recall, I'm not going to say where it was, but I recall being at a psychic fair not that long ago.
Yeah.
And there must have been 10 or 11 readers there. And my point that I found fascinating, because I wasn't there reading or doing anything psychic, I was there selling me books. But I'm very observant, and there was two people in particular that I saw who went round at least half a dozen readers and sat and had reading.
No way.
And I was thinking to myself, well, 30 quid a pop, that's the best part of 200 quid that they've spent. For what?
Yeah.
For what? She looked happy, though, I have to say. One of them that I saw looked happy. Another one didn't look happy, but, you know, can't please them all, I suppose. But it does demonstrate there are thousands of people out there looking for answers to questions that we don't know.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, I believe a medium's job is an ambassador to spirit and a bridge, if you like, between, you know, the afterlife and this life. And that is a very special gift.
Yeah.
And it's a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
How do you feel about the people who purport to do what we do, but they don't?
As in, like the you give me the words. Like they claim to be a medium or psychic, but they're not. It makes me really angry because I feel that at the moment, being a medium, I hate the word medium. If you see me work, I more often I say I have stood on a platform and just say medium. All right, I'm the medium between the two worlds, but I'm just a mum that just gets up there and spirit give me the insight.
Ambassadors are nice of them.
That's lovely, isn't it? I don't like the title I'm just.
Well, we've got to, I suppose we've got Victorian times to thank for that. We'll have to have a word with Mr. Marsh about that one later on. So what's next for you, Amy?
I'm just going to keep plodding along. I think I'm very happy doing the churches. I love to give back to the churches because that's where I started. I feel that churches are the light. I just feel that churches, I see them as like the lighthouses. People go there. And I always use this analogy of a ripple effect. So I feel that when people go to a church, your cup is almost like filled up with the light. And then you go out into that world then and just have a little bit of a ripple effect, whether that's smiling at somebody, taking your trolley back, or just being a listening ear for a year. That's the Valley's coming out to me now, isn't it? A listening ear for someone. I just feel that churches are so important. They're so close to my heart. Being a medium is so cool right now. Like everyone, and it is cool, but you know, it's for me, it's a duty, it's a job. This is my almost like life, my path, my assignment. But everyone's just jumping on it, and I've seen mediums. This is a bit naughty, but I will say, I promised myself when I came on here today, I would be myself, and that's that.
Good, that's what we want.
I just am.
You can be as honest as you like on In the Psychic's Chair, because that's what we're all about.
I am my authentic self. And I've seen people use the churches to build a reputation to then go, I'm not doing that no more. And then they'll be doing events, but not so much events for fundraisers. It's all in the back pocket.
Yeah.
And it makes me, it's nothing to do with me, but on the outside, I just think,
it's exploitation.
Yes.
It is exploitation. I mean, nobody minds somebody that's, you know, got business acumen.
Yes.
I mean, we've had guests on our program, and Angela Aurora Medway Smith springs to my mind, who is a best-selling Amazon author. She's traveled all over the world. She runs workshops in the most exotic places, and but she doesn't take a lot for it, for what she does. And she's a real ambassador for women as well, which is really important. You know, the goddess movement.
Yes, I need to look at that.
And I think that that's really so important because, you know, there are many of us who, I mean, I'm an old man now, you know, I don't know how much longer I've got left, but the reality is that what we do, as long as we do it with unconditional love and light, we can do it till the day we die.
Absolutely.
And that's what I certainly believe. I think that, I mean, you know, when you're a relative newcomer, but have the abilities and the skills that you have, even though you're a relative newcomer to the churches, speaks to how wonderful you will probably be in the future.
No, I'd love to develop. I would love to inspire other people to jump on the path, and you know,
learn properly.
Yes, because I just feel there's lots out there, isn't it? You can do this course, you can do this, you can sit in this. I'm very mindful of like what's out there at the moment, and I'm trying to keep myself.
Perhaps you can join Elaine and I in the next segment when we talk about training and education, because we decided that because it's an issue that keeps coming up every single week with every medium that we've had on the program, that we thought that we should have a little look and see whether or not we can do something, because in the psychics chair seems to be creating a world of its own almost, really, within a world.
I love that. No, and I think it's important to talk.
Yes.
I feel in this movement, lots of it is a little bit hush-hush, a little bit,
too secret, really.
Yeah, and I'm all about sharing and exploring.
I mean, it's the only way we learn is to share. Amy Price, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on in the psychics chair.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being our guest
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Stay around and join us for our next bit. Thank you.
Walls Have Ears, 1843 to 1877, Volume 1. Why not tune in to Showboat Television Online, Roku or Amazon Fire and watch Whisperings of Craig y Nos, produced by John Rolls and based on channeling and books by Lazarus Carpenter. A journey into the paranormal, only on Showboat Television. Book available from Artist and Makers Emporium SA9, 1GL, Amazon, and LazarusCarpenterAuthor.com. Volume 2 coming soon.
We wanted to have a little bit of a chat about education in mediumship and working with spirit, really moving on a little bit from what Amy was talking about earlier, related to some of her experiences. And also that every week since we started this series, the issue of education has come up. The issue has come up about mediums purporting to be mediums that are not, and basically not providing the service that spirit expects us to provide. So, Amy and Elaine, I mean, you both have experiences of what could be argued to be poor training.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really important that if you do start to look in training in spiritualism, that you look for the right people, because there's so many people who are psychic and haven't got a medium link and pretend that they have, and then you're just going to learn the wrong way for an extraordinary amount of money and get nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, the issue of money. See, I mean, obviously nobody expects anything for nothing, but there's extortion and there's reasonableness where fees are concerned. And the other thing is, it's what one is going to be taught. I mean, Amy, you were telling us earlier about some of your experiences, some of them which were good, but also the bit about spending a lot of money trying to find things out
Yeah.
and not really been that
No.
successful doing so.
No, this is it. I just feel like the way that I work is sort of through spirit. But I've seen like online courses for like a couple of £100 to learn about colours and animals and I just think I know people that are going without to pay for these kind of services and they're not getting nothing out of it at all, and I just disagree.
I mean, you know, the whole idea about working with spirit as an ambassador, as we would all agree, is that there are certain things that we have to get right before spirit's even going to want to know. And one of the things which concerns me greatly is a lot of these courses that you're talking about, that you're referring to now, you know, about colours and this and that and the other. And I fail, I'm afraid, in my ignorance, to see the relevance.
Yeah.
Because certainly from my own perspective, when I'm working with spirit, they show me things. They tell me things. And I don't embellish it. I don't change it. And I tell whoever it is I'm supposed to tell exactly what it is that I've just experienced.
Give what you get, isn't it?
Yes.
Don't wrap it up. Don't change it. Say it as you get it.
How do you feel about, I mean, you must have seen mediums work who go around the houses, as I call it, you know, trying to get a link with somebody.
Or fishing.
Fishing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Fishing.
I think they use that as, for example, if I like a carousel, I got to give you a carousel, I can't understand that, a memory link. And then they go, oh, symbolically, a carousel could, and like, they use that almost as
to try and make it fit.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
That is something that I find particularly frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a regular churchgoer, and I go not just to, you know, for the ambience, but I go to see the quality, and I can't help myself but examine the mediums almost for efficacy. And I would say that 50% of people that I see are extremely good, and 50% are fishermen or fisherwomen, for that matter.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I find irritating is when, for example, the medium will say to Mrs. Jones, well, I know you can't take it at the moment, but why don't you take it home and have a think about it? And I'm sure it will come up later.
Yeah.
How do you feel about messages like that?
Yeah, I can understand. I always ask spirit, see, so if I'm not sure, I will literally say to my team, please can you give me more, I need clarification, because I do work direct, but obviously sometimes the sat nav can be off, but 99% of the time I know where I am, and if I get a message just a little bit, you know, I don't understand that, I can't, it don't feel right for me to go, hold on.
I mean, it's almost like they toss the bait out to the audience, don't they? So can anybody take this?
Yeah, you have to know where you're going, who you got, and who's it for. Not just to throw it out. I think that's wrong.
But I mean, for me personally, I'll be drawn to somebody, and sometimes there's a light around the top of their head or something.
Yeah.
But it'd be the only person in the audience that is.
Yeah.
So I kind of know that's who I've got to go to.
Yeah.
When somebody comes up with some kind of spirit, I mean, the one that makes me laugh a lot is I've got a little old lady with me who has got her hair in a bun, and she's baking an apple pie.
And she likes Welsh cakes,
or Welsh cakes.
Yeah.
Can anybody take that? I mean, how many people in the world could turn around and say, it's me granny? You know, so in an audience of 70, let's say, I would say 30 to 40% of that group will all go, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do they then sort that out?
But I do feel that's bad training.
You need that. My mentor, he's hard work, but I love him, right? But he always said to me, ask them. When I was training, if I said to someone, I've got a lady, and he's getting, I don't know, for example, I've got a lady, she's like the description, and she's giving me a flower, and he's like, ask her, who is she? What does she do in life? Why is she giving you? You need. He's like, ask. So that's what
because spirit will give you more for clarification that you've got the right link.
You won't have it,
and that's important.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's move the discussion on a little bit. What do you think
are the important qualities that a medium needs to learn before they even, or somebody that wants to be medium, before they even consider stepping onto a podium.
Meditation.
Mm-hmm.
How to meditate and how to breathe properly.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the first step into opening up your auras, opening your third mind, and having a link with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go the other way, see. I just think compassion, but just for human life, for you know what, when I first opened up, I was like, look at that tree, oh, look at the leaves. It's compassion for Mother Earth, for the animal
Absolutely.
kingdom. Like,
Unconditional love for
So what we're
everything.
starting with here is grounding.
yeah,
That's what we're starting with here, isn't it? It's grounding. It's being grounded in nature, being grounded on Mother Earth.
yeah,
Okay, because that's where we are. So one of the things that I've noticed a lot is that people go off on tangents, which to me, they're not grounded, because if they're going off on tangents, they're certainly not grounded in any shape or form. So in order to meditate, we have to know how to do that. And the thing is, there are lots and lots of different ways of meditating, aren't there? I mean, it's not just one way. But I actually personally believe that the easiest form of meditation is nothing more than sitting quietly in a quiet space and not thinking about anything, but maybe focusing on a candlelight. Because the first thing we have to do is to get rid of all the noise in our heads.
absolutely. Yes. Daydreaming, I'm doing it a bit now. I'm like,
Which could be difficult if you get ADHD, to quiet your mind to get in that space, I think.
yeah, we both got ADHD, so it's another bow to our string. But yeah, I agree.
But but the quietness of mind is vital.
Absolutely.
And ADHD or no ADHD, you've got to find that peace of mind to enable yourself to see whatever.
I think it's just slowing down, isn't it? And taking note of the energies and what's around you and how that feels.
Definitely.
Indeed. So, all right. So we would start then with wanting to be grounded and wanting to become focused. Okay. And then we would want to be looking at things like, for example, what are we hearing? Are we, I mean, my own journey started with having a contract with spirit. Okay. I believe personally that we have to have a contract, that we have to know, we have to control that contract, not spirit, because we're a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of a relationship do we want with spirit?
And what we want from our guides, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
And what do you need?
What you need.
Not just what do you want, but what do you actually need? And that can take quite some time to do. And I run a course, which is how to work with your spirit guides. And the first part of that course is actually about setting a contract, and that contract forms three parts. First part is your relationship with spirit. Second part is what do you want your guides to be like? And the third part is how are you going to work together?
Yeah.
Right. And that it's as simple as that. And that has to be written down and formalized and signed so that you're making a contract with yourself and spirit at the same time. That's then not legally binding, of course, but it is spiritually binding.
So you don't think you can do that verbally then?
Well, you do both. I mean, the thing is, you write it down. I mean, the way that I teach is that people write down what they want, but then they actually recite it 3 times every day at a certain time that suits them, and then sit back and wait. Now, for me, it came from, I mean, I did that back in 1989. And what happened to me was that the first, about 3 or 4 days after I'd started doing this, I had the urge to write, and I got this big piece of paper and a pen, and I shut my eyes and going like this. And then I looked, and it was just scribble. The next night, had exactly the same feeling again, only this time to use my other hand. So I'd use the left hand the first time, the right hand the second time. Same thing again. And I looked at it and I thought, that's strange. And I'm looking at 2 blocks of squiggles, basically. But they were a mirror image of each other. And the first word I ever heard from Spirit was harmony. Because that's what I was looking at, was harmony.
Balance.
And that, and that's where, as above, so below. So that's where it started for me. It was some years later, maybe 2 years later, before I actually heard any voices or saw anything. Because it was very much about, being in the right place at the right time. And when you're younger, it's not that easy to always find, especially if you're a working mum, to find the time to do some of these things. But then it becomes your life. Then you do it without even thinking. So, I think that once the link has been made, then we allow ourselves to develop in our own way. Ego seems to me to be one of the greatest problems that people who work with spirit have.
Absolutely. And I think going back to like right before the whole meditation or the grounding, I really believe that if you want to develop, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's not for the money, it's not for the presidents, it's for the people.
Yeah.
It's for, I don't want to be too religious about it, but it could be argued it's for all it is. Someone call it God, I call it all it is, because that energy which we cannot see but we know exists, and all those vibrations that we all exist on and in and within, that's what feeds us, isn't it? Everything else is an illusion.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I feel that I was walking around blind. And when I opened up and developed, I thought, wow, I've been living in this
illusionary world. Yeah.
And I was looking at people in Tesco's going, you poor people, you have no idea what other realms, sounds crazy, but that's how I felt.
No,
that we are linked to so much more.
How can it be crazy when many scientists today would agree that we live in a multi-dimensional universe? We don't necessarily understand it, but we do live in a multi-dimensional universe. And the spirit realm, as we were saying earlier when we were chatting, is very much like a waiting room. It's like an airport lounge, that people come and they go. And it's like we were saying last night, that just because one wants to communicate with spirit doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, number one. And number two, your relatives might not want to talk to you, might not have anything to say to you.
But it is accessible for everybody.
That's it. That's the point. And there is no place for fear, is there? And that's the other thing that gets in the way.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about on education, if that's okay.
Yeah, by all means.
Was I'm like everyone that knows me knows I'm obsessed with social media, and I feel that mediumship is going into this new social media era, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah. We need to be very careful because I've seen things on TikTok that I just think, oh my gosh, you can become a medium in 60 seconds of watching a video. It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and what they put out there can be so dangerous for the novice, I think.
You're quite right.
So misleading. Yeah.
I mean, these apps that are around now as well. I mean, I seem to remember I think it was Josh that we spoke to about the apps, wasn't it? That people seem to have so much faith in these things, but what they don't realise is that they could be opening something up which they're going to have great difficulty in closing.
Yeah.
But they're available and free quite often as well. I mean, you can download a free app to your phone, which will, like an EMF
transcribe
meter
it.
Almost, and that's quite good.
And the other thing on TikTok is, the promotion of Ouija boards, which, if you know how to work them,
it's okay.
But they just show it to you in a 2-second video, and
it's like opening a gateway to you don't know what.
Yeah, it causes so many problems.
Yeah, because we all know, we would agree, wouldn't we, that within the lower realms there are
some pretty horrible entities, and they can do you harm, and they're just looking for a way in. And if you've got somebody who is, I don't want to use the word simple, but I mean, it really does. It's the only word I can think of.
Uneducated about spirit.
Who are thinking to themselves, oh yeah, this will be all right, I'll do this. And then suddenly, they're not well.
And they do it for the scare factor.
Yeah, and then they also do, I mean, the other side of it is illness. You know, the amount of psychiatric illness that is caused by people doing things that they really shouldn't be doing. And they don't understand what's happening. And then suddenly, but a psychiatrist won't sit there and say, well, you know, this is obviously spirit.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist will sit there and say, well, your symptoms, according to the DSM, tell me that you are schizophrenic. And therefore, here's some pills to make you not schizophrenic, calm you down, take away all these horrible things that you're experiencing. Now, it's sadly all too common. All too common.
Yeah.
And once one's on the bandwagon, it's a bit difficult to get off. So, given that we've had all these experiences through the course of the program, as well as the ones that we've had in our own lives, it seems to me that maybe in the psychic's chair should be promoting good quality, grounded training.
Absolutely, I think that's really important going forward, showing people how they can make a connection in a safe environment.
What are your feelings about Zoom conferences and things like that? Yeah, I mean, do you think that, you see, because I actually believe that the very basics, the rudimentary issues that there are, can be dealt with online, could be taught online quite easily. But there is an issue about how people share that information, you know, and whether they feel safe about it and everything else. Because if you've got a circle, then you know those people, you spent time with them, you build up trust, and you are able to take more risks. Whereas if it's online, that's not the same at all. It's quite, it'd be quite difficult.
I was trained online, so I'm like a pro online Zoom, I think it's Teams now, we recently using, so I don't really know any different as to my training. But yeah.
When you say you don't know any different, but when you have sat in circles. So.
I sat in an online circle.
An online circle?
Online circle, yeah.
Okay.
I think it can be achieved through Zooms and that kind of thing, you know.
So I was a bit like, how does it work when I first started? How can you connect with spirit online? But it does. And I sat in an online circle for 2 years.
Well, it could be argued that we are psychologically online with spirit all the time. We're just not using tech to do it. I mean, it could be argued that a medium is indeed online directly.
But
then it all comes down to the energy, doesn't it? Yeah. And how the energy
maybe this is a theme that we're going to keep coming across over and over again. It certainly seems to be the way. So, Amy, Elaine, thank you for joining me in this discussion. Very important discussion, and I hope that that viewers will make comment on the YouTube page about some of the things, because we are interested in people's opinions, and we have thought on the program about maybe developing some kind of training course, if you like, an introductory course to get people in the right frame of mind, as it were. So we would like to hear from anybody, so please feel free to do that. So for the time being, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
9 ghost stories to fuel paranormal paranoia for insomniacs. A man unable to say no. A headless horse seeks revenge. An ancient castle lost in time. A medium guided by a haunted pen. The whispering windmill. An abandoned railway station. A girl and a raven. A secret passageway. And the very strange absent ball. Illustrated by Jill Brooks and written by Lazarus Carpenter. Available from Amazon, Lulu, Artist and Makers Emporium.uk and LazarusCarpenterAuthor.com.
So how does it feel in here?
Since I entered this room, I feel it all in my chest. I feel very, very heavy feeling. And when I've come sort of further into this room, it almost just feels that I've got a lady energy. I feel that it would have been an older lady. This almost, I want to say in authority, or she definitely sort of had her roles within this room. But I feel that she's not very happy that we're here. I'll be funny then. I just feel a little bit like she's almost coming close as if to say, what are you doing? This is my role. This is my place. I feel that I want to take myself out of this room because of this lady's energy sort of pressing. But in a nice sense, I do feel busy, feel very busy. Lots would have gone on in this room, and I just feel it's a shame because despite the light energy of the busyness, I just feel this heaviness.
It's a real distinct divide. So you've got the children's energy, which is quite light and playful, and then you've got the lady's energy then, which is quite a stern one.
I just feel like I've got a bit of a headache coming on as well in this room. I don't know what it is. The front of my head, just sort of take that away, please. I just feel very. I can't sort of sense anyone else at the moment, though, other than that.
I'm very aware that there's somebody sat in the chair. I'm not sure if it's the other gentleman we picked up previously. I'm very aware there's a man sat in the chair there. And my lungs and my chest.
I just felt the pull of my skirt then. There's definitely a sense of playfulness, but the pull. Did you just hear that? I was on the camera.
So this again is up in the hospital, at the back of the rooms. How does this feel?
I don't feel that is. I'm not sure maybe if it's because I've just come into this space, but I don't feel it as heavy as and as pressing as the other. It feels a little bit more clearly visually is lighter, but I feel energy wise is a little bit up and down in this room. I do feel a sense of sadness, but I do have I think I'm definitely pulling into a male energy as well that would be present.
Yeah, male. Oh, well, that was good, wasn't it?
Hello. To the male present, can you tell me your name, please? We come in love and light. We're not here to move you on in any sense. The male, was it you that just threw something? Is that outside? I think that's outside. Or was it upstairs? Something's going on. But again, I just feel a sense of like, I'm not meant to be here. I'm not supposed to be here.
You can hear the children running across, can't you? And the gentleman that I've got, Victorian fella, quite tall, Victorian, with a hooky nose, and I got to do this as a moustache. Quite smart, but he would have had an aristocratic nose, or a big nose. Yeah, a little bit bald on the side of the head, and a moustache. I'm quite proud of moustache, but very Victorian dressed.
Picking up on the moustache. But I've got a short gentleman though. I've got a short man that I feel quite like, you know, you get short people that almost want to throw their weight around. And I feel that this gentleman would have had like some kind of badges or some kind of like, I want to put something here or on my shoulders.
Like military.
Yes, very strong. Not a very tall gentleman, but strong. And I feel that he passed quite sudden or unexpected there as well. And I'm a little bit angry as to how I passed. Almost like there was a lot more that I wanted to do here. But he would have had a position of authority. Take that away. I got to go to the heart as well. That'll come in quite strong.
I've got the smell of like eucalyptus coming through.
There is a lady as well. I feel that there's a lady, and I want to go to a lady that would have had a caring role because I feel quite light as her energy steps in. I feel very young as well with this lady. Very beautiful porcelain skin. I got to go to like her hair would have been set in a certain way. Very slim, petite lady. Very, very young. I feel very young with her. And I just feel that she would have been sort of, I almost feel that I'm thrown into here to do things, or I'm thrown to do almost like I didn't expect to do what I have to do here, but I'm here now and I need to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to get into trouble. There's a sense of.
Because you've got the underlying sternness in here as well, haven't you?
Yeah, it's very up and down energy-wise, isn't it?
What's very interesting about here is that this was one of the main wards when it was hospital time, and there were beds all the way down each side and down the centre. And in the programme and in the book, The Children of Craig y Nos, it actually shows you photographs of the ward and exactly how the beds were at that particular time. And I just wonder if the young lady that you were picking up earlier on was a nurse who found herself working here, didn't realise what she was about to experience when she got here. That's what it sounds like.
Deep sense of sadness as well, not just in the sense of the things that would have happened in this room, but there's a sense of sadness within that lady too.
I mean, the children were in bed most of the time. They rarely got out of bed. And if they did, they were often chastised by one of the nursing staff, particularly the matron, who was very stern, who I think was the lady that you picked up in the other room.
Yeah, she came right there.
Yeah, right in your face.
Get out. Yeah. 16. There's almost a sense of they're still in that area still. And I do feel a sense of, because I'm a woman as well, I don't know what it is because I'm a woman, I understand there would have been women here maybe that would have cared, but I just feel a sense because I'm a woman, there's something to do with this room as well, like I'm inferior, I feel very, can't pinpoint that.
But in those days, the matron was the boss.
Yeah.
And if the matron shouted crap, everybody jumped on the shovel.
Yeah.
Because that was the nature of work in those days.
Yeah.
And also, the children were expected to behave themselves all the time. And the average stay for a child here was anything from 12 months to 2 years, not seeing their parents, not having visitors, and only seeing their parents on birthdays and Christmas through the window.
I can see scratches on a wall, like where fingerprints would have, like fingernails, would have scratched a wall. And I'm looking and I can see that we're down to brick, but I can see like children would have clawed, or whether that was a boredom thing or something, but I can physically see children clawing at the walls.
It is the sort of thing a child does when it's born.
Yeah.
I remember as a child having whooping cough and been in bed for 6 weeks and peeling the wallpaper off the wall and being slagged off for it.
I'm very aware that there's a 16, 17-year-old serving girl. Got a long skirt and there's a serving girl. She's very much here as well. Oh, she's very much here as well. So I do feel there would have been a serving type. But she's young, she is. So,
of course, in those days, people started work very young.
Yeah.
Not like today where one doesn't necessarily start work at all. But in fact, it was quite commonplace for young labour. And certainly in the captain's time, there would have been young men and young women working here of 12, 13 years of age.
And can you feel the children behind you, Amy?
There's definitely a sense, I'm being distracted. There's a sense of distraction. Yeah, I just feel, I don't know, lots going on and around. Yeah, I'm almost trying to concentrate on what's being said, but my mind is being pulled in different directions. But yeah, I feel this room, despite everything sort of going on, feels lighter than the last in some sense. I am aware of that male energy coming forward, the one with the moustache. Quite prominent. He's almost like foreseeing or overseeing things. Get a sense of like he's standing back, but I am watching what is going on.
Quite a tough, stern energy.
I'd like to stand like this, quite, and I'm looking, I'm watching, and I'm taking everything in. And he is making it known to me that he's watching us as well. I feel that
it's his house.
Yeah, it's almost like I'm watching you, mind, and I feel that he would be the type of spirit as well that would definitely make movements, make himself known. I know we've seen something sort of fall earlier, but I feel that he's quite active, is the word.
Connor,
active.
Perhaps. Could be.
To the male that I'm speaking about, I understand that you know that I'm talking about you. I feel I want to say sir.
Please can you make your presence known in love and light? He's laughing, almost going, yeah, right.
Can you hear a growling?
I think that's a bike or something, is it?
You sure?
I don't know.
No, I thought that was outside.
Did you?
I can hear it, but I thought it was outside.
And I'm very aware there's kids around my feet.
Mm.
You feel that, can you? It's like the claim hide
Well, I
and
feel
seek
drafts
around
around
us.
Yeah. Interesting place, really, really. There's a lurker in that doorway as well. There's definitely a lurker, a very tall, slender male that's just standing there. I feel quite neutral with this gentleman's energy, but very much sort of looking. I do feel a gentleman that would have been like a middle, lower class man, but he's certainly sort of, again, just wanting to peep in. But, oh, if that was you, can you make that noise again, please? Getting dizzy now, I am.
Would you know, Jeremy, if any of these kids would get smacked at the back of the legs? Do you understand that?
I don't really know.
It's
Quite probable, you know.
Oh, I just had something,
Back
but I've just had mine on my backside.
Yeah.
My backside.
They were all very cool. It's doubtful whether they were all little angels. You know what I say.
Can you imagine lying in bed all day long, not being allowed to get up? And what was the old saying? Children will be seen and not heard.
Mm.
So, you know, and if you're poorly as well and you're having difficulty in breathing and everything else, you have to make your own entertainment with the other kids in the other beds as well.
Right.
So it's quite, quite well
Because they were
within.
strapped to the beds as well.
I don't think they were necessarily strapped to the bed as such. I think some of them were if they were particularly restless. But they were certainly not allowed out.
I'm a bit overcome in there, so I'm really like struggling. I'm not just saying that.
You know,
Like when I breathe in, it hurts.
What you're picking up are the symptoms of TB.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'm breathing in and it's physically hurting. Take that away, please.
Okay, well, I think that's a good place to stop so that we can protect Amy. Jeremy, if you want to come and join us. So that's a very exciting episode today. I think we've covered all sorts of things, haven't we? Really, it's been quite a broad-ranging program in so many respects. So, Amy, can I thank you on behalf of the Psychic Chair for being our guest medium today?
Pleasure.
Elaine, of course, as usual, never ceases to amaze, and Jeremy, my dear old friend, without whom we wouldn't be here. So, from me, Lazarus Carpenter, thank you very much for another program of In the Psychic's Chair. See you next week.
MostHauntedCastle.com. Paranormal investigations with a difference. Visit our website or ring reception for details 01639 731167. In the Psychic's Chair, the veil between worlds thins, as the smoke deep and let the unseen truths of the immersed, guiding us into the unknown.